Hello everyone. Today I will be featuring a ship I haven't touched upon in a while, and that is the Conqueror. The matchmaking is, well, pretty much tier 10, as is usual. Nothing really special about it. There's some HE spammers that can cause trouble, there's a lot of DDs, 4 of them that can cause trouble, but ultimately it's pretty standard tier 10 matchmaking. Now, I haven't touched upon the Conqueror since they nerfed it, and, well, the nerfs were much required, because this ship used to be even more ridiculous than it is now. I still consider this ship to be a very negative impact on the game, and the gameplay it promotes. But first let's cover the nerfs that they did since the last time I covered this ship. Repair Party 2, I don't care about Repair Party 1 because you shouldn't be using stock consumables on a tier 10 ship. So Repair Party 2, the consumable recharge time was increased from 80 seconds to 120. Now if you run Jack Dunkirk on the Conqueror, as I recommend, and you run the November Foxtrot flag on the battleship, as I recommend, you were able to cut down in the past you were able to cut down the heal cooldown from 80 seconds to 68 seconds by running Jack Dunkirk, Jack of all trades, and November Foxtrot. Now with the nerf, you can only reduce it to 103 seconds. So on a minimax build, which is of course the type of builds I always recommend, the time for the heal to come off cooldown is 35 seconds longer. So that means you have potentially 35 seconds more to punish a Conqueror once he's used his heal before he can print a new ship. That is good. One of the most absurd things about the Conqueror was just how incredibly unkillable it was. It's still really hard to take the ship down because of multitudes of reasons, but at least they have greatly impacted its insane survivability, especially while under fire. Now you actually kind of have to disengage and heal up. You can just sit there, take the hits, heal, take the hits, heal, and so forth. So there's a good change. Another change that they have added is they nerfed the Concealment. It used to be, if you ran a full stealth build, which once again, one of the things I recommended, you had an 11.1 km Concealment, which is of course completely stupid. They nerfed it so that if you run full stealth build, you now have an 11.8 km Concealment. That's still pretty ridiculous. That's still the best tier 10 battleship stealth by far. I mean, what the Grosse Corfus has 13.8 or something, 13.5. The Montana has 13.4. So this ship has still has insane stealth. In fact, it still outspots many of the cruisers. It outspots the Henry, it outspots the Moskva, it outspots the Hindenburg. Like, it's stupid. A full stealth battleship should never outspot a full stealth cruiser. That's my opinion. I think it's bad for the game. I think it's terrible that, I mean, a battleship already has the armor advantage, it already has the massive heal advantage. Why does it shouldn't have the stealth advantage as well? That should go to the cruisers. I think that fits the cruiser playstyle, because they got significantly less armor, significantly less heal, and much more vulnerable citadels, so they should have the stealth advantage. That makes sense to me. So that's one of the things I still heavily disagree with. What they haven't touched upon is of course the HE. As you can see, I've landed 11 hits, I have 5 fires. The HE on this ship is stupid. 48% fire chance, 7.2k alpha. HE is still the most effective tool for dealing damage, because it doesn't really care about angling. The raw alpha is amazing, and even if you don't get the raw alpha hits, you still have that insane fire chance. So especially against battleships, you are just this menace. And normally, giving this much broadside in a battleship, normally this kind of broadside would be very risky. In a Yamato, this would be asking for citadels. In a Montana, this would probably get you citadeled as well. In the Conqueror, you don't get citadeled. Because that's one of the things I really dislike about this ship. The Citadel is completely underwater. In order to get Citadeled, well, they would have to be shooting me from significantly further away, so they could get that plunging fire that would catch that Citadel that is actually underwater. So the shells have to plunge deep into the ship. Where the Bismarck is, where the Montana is, they can get some pens, but they won't be penetrating my Citadel because the Citadel is too deep underwater. So it kind of One of my main issues with this ship is that it promotes this kind of brain-dead gameplay where you can sit full broadside, you sit there shooting HE, you don't have to time your volleys to hit broadsides or aim for the citadel, you just kind of aim in the general direction of the ship, you give full broadside and you spam HE, and you're a monster. You are so incredibly effective, you're so strong, and it requires so little skill to do it, and this is one of my big negatives. It promotes the worst type of gameplay. The worst part is, of course, that the best thing you are at punishing with this thing, the best thing the Conqueror is at punishing is battleships that push up. These battleships here that are trying to push, I am the perfect counter to them. I'm the perfect punishment to these guys. If you had to pick your favorite target in a Conqueror, it's battleships who push in. So naturally, when there's a Conqueror around, people don't want to push in. For obvious reasons. You push into this guy, well, he can sail around giving full broadside, and you can't really kill him, and he'll just burn you to death regardless of your angling. That's not fun to play against. That's horribly unfun to play against, and that's always been one of my major parts about this ship. Not how overpowered I consider the ship. That's never been my main complaint about this ship. My main complaint about this ship is how horribly unfun it is to play against this ship. It is so terribly unfun to play against this ship. It doesn't matter what you do, he will still do massive damage. His skill is completely irrelevant, and your skill is completely irrelevant because it doesn't matter how much you angle and dodge and so forth, because he'll still be hitting you and he'll still be starting fires. And I hate that. That's always been my major gripe with this ship. It just brings the worst type of gameplay to the game, and that is a huge issue for me. Also, it has 24.3 kilometers of range. Why does it need to have the best range and also the best concealment and also amazing range? It does, like, the 24.3 km range doesn't encourage using the stealth at all. And because the HA is so strong, what you see the average battleship, the average Conqueror player doing is sit back as far back in spawn as possible and just spam HE the entire game. 20 minutes straight, full HP Conqueror sitting in the back spamming HE. You've all seen them, I've seen them, you see them every day. That's how the average player plays the Conqueror. They sit back and they spam HE from across the map, and they're full HP by the time the game ends. And it's really not what the game needed. And of course the concealment. I mean, look, I'm getting undetected whenever I wish. So that's another issue. It's incredibly hard to punish the ship, even with the nerfed heal, which makes it so that there's actually an opportunity to punish it. Unless you have someone actively spotting the guy, you can just get undetected whenever you wish, and you can wait for your heal to come back, and then you're back to full HP and you're picking a fight again. And that's horrible to play against. This Yamato is full HP, by the way, and I was like, what, 30 something K? I'm 37k now, but I have my heal ready, and this kind of fight, it doesn't really matter what the Yamato does, because this is so horribly biased in my favor. This entire matchup is so biased in my favor. When I angle, he can't try to aim for my broadside, because I'll bounce it. He can overmatch my nose, but he's not gonna get any citadels, so... And whenever I wish, I can just get undetected by not shooting anymore. I'm kind of rushing him to brawl him though. I guess the Ruin is helping him by spamming HE on me as well. But I really don't care, because I'm willing to take this fight without any issues. The fundamental issue with this ship is the gameplay it promotes, the gameplay it brings to the game is terrible. It's also awful to play against as a cruiser, because if you happen to play any cruiser that doesn't have excellent stealth, or even if you do, having this guy pop up at 12 kilometers with AP that can overmatch your armor and just one-shot you at any point, that's not fun either. How is it fun? You play a cruiser, suddenly a battleship, tier 10 battleship, pops out of nowhere at 12 kilometer range right in front of you. You had no idea he was there because his stealth is literally better than yours, and then he just blaps you instantly, and then you shoot back and your AP bounces because your AP can't really pen him if he angles, or you shoot HE, which he can heal up for hundreds of thousands of health. It's The big issue I have with the Conqueror is it's horribly unfun to play. Note that I'm waiting for my reload, and because I run Expert Reloader, I can switch ammo type in 11 seconds. So when I see this Yamato trying to turn away to disengage, because he doesn't really want to brawl against me, who does want to brawl against a guy who has an underwater citadel? Unlike the Yamato, of course, doesn't have an underwater citadel, so I switch to AP, and at this range, triple citadel, Yamato gets deleted. No chance for him. And at this point, well, normal, if other battleships might be able to get punished here somewhat. I'm down to 8.8k health, and the Rune might be able to spam some HE on me. But simply, if I don't shoot, I know I'll be undetected. I don't even care. He's not even aiming at me. It doesn't matter. I have my repair up, and in 10 seconds, look how much I'll heal again. I'll heal up to half HP. Because I haven't taken any citadel damage, so pretty much all the damage I've taken is healable. So when I press my win button, I'll be back up to half HP. And that's awful. I don't even need to use it though. If I don't want to, I could just delay it and make use of the AR buff, but I don't want to take any silly risks. So I don't like the gameplay this ship promotes. That's always been my issue. I really don't like the gameplay this ship promotes. It promotes the lazy, brain-dead, long-range HE spam, give broadside whenever you want to, don't get punished, get undetected easily, like, you don't really have to worry about your positioning as much because you have such excellent stealth that getting undetected is so easy. It's a combination of all the worst things in a battleship, and it promotes this gameplay across the board. That's another issue. Since they introduced the Royal Navy battleships, more and more battleships of other nations have started shooting HE as well, because they see how people play the Royal Navy, and they see that they get burned to death by Royal Navy battleships. So the average potato who doesn't understand the difference in ammunition types, who doesn't understand the difference in penetration across the nations, like Germans and Royal Navy has better HE pen and so forth, they shoot HE in their ships as well. So you have Yamato shooting HE, and you have Izumo shooting HE, and you have Montana shooting HE, and this is the kind of thing we've been trying to teach battleship players to stop doing, and ever since they introduced the Royal Navy battleship line, basically the average intelligence of the battleship players has taken 3 steps backwards. And it's just... I still hate this ship. I still think it's the worst thing ever. I still have no issues hard carrying in this ship. Like I think it's stupid, and I think it's an awful addition. And I honestly, this is one of the few lines that I wish they would have just never added to the game, or they would simply just remove and rework entirely. When they first talked about Royal Navy battleships, I was hoping we would see something like the Warspite. The Warspite has really accurate guns. It has slow turret traverse, it's clumsy, but it has incredibly accurate guns and amazing, like, penetrating, plunging fire. With amazing penetration. So the Warspite guns and the Warspite in general was extremely satisfying to play, but because with good aim you could just get these huge AP volleys, and it felt so powerful and it was a lot of fun. But then they just went in this direction, and I have no idea why. And this is my least played battleship because I think it's the least interesting battleship, and I hate the gameplay it promotes. 250k damage, yay! 3 citadels on the Yamato, of course, the usual dreadnought wither things that you get in the ship so very easily. If you look at team score, only 2.2k, but then again I didn't really shoot any DDs, I didn't really cap, I kinda just pushed up a left flank and killed every battleship in my way. Hooray! If you look at detailed report, Yamato 92k, Bismarck 76k, Roma 36k, Montana 34k. Pretty much ate every single battleship on the way alive, and I gave a bunch of them a ton of broadside, but they couldn't punish me. The game lasted less than 12 minutes, 250k damage. This ship is still really stupid. Yes, they've nerfed it, it's a good thing that they've nerfed it, but the fundamental issue is the design of the ship, which promotes the worst kind of gameplay, and my opinion on that hasn't changed at all. I can show you guys my recommended build for this ship real quick. I have spec'd out of Vigilance, because with the addition of Pan-Asian deepwater torps and the addition of more incoming deepwater torps, a concept that I absolutely hate, by the way. I hate deepwater torps, they are completely stupid, but because Vigilance is pretty much completely useless against that, I've spec'd out of Vigilance. Anyway, let me show you guys my recommended build. Alright, starting off, we have the modules. Absolutely no reason to run the 457s because, well, they're not 460, which means you can't overmatch armor the same way Yamato can, which means these things are completely, absolutely pointless. Reload, I mean, premium consumables, of course. You click the little arrow to make sure you're not paying in doubloons, you're paying in credits. You should be running both premium damage control and premium heal, because the 50k you spend on this is 50k that you'll easily make back by having significantly better games. Upgrade wise, turret survival. These turrets actually have really squishy armor, and it's very easy to punish these turrets, so you want to increase the survivability. Additional resistance against fire, better dispersion, additional tankiness. Once again, you got 32mm armor everywhere, which means you're actually quite vulnerable to HE compared to any other tier 10 battleship. That is why if you hit a lot of burst damage, you can actually get killed, even by HE burst damage. That's of course why you run stealth build, so you can disengage when the need pops up. Concealment, stealth build as I mentioned, and faster reload on the guns because, well, you want to be putting out that Daka Daka as often as possible, and you already have such excellent range, there's absolutely no reason not to run it. Captain perks, priority target, I love this, especially when dealing with DDs, because DDs are kind of your hard counter, so knowing when the DD is targeting you with torpedoes or not is extremely valuable. AR, faster reload the lower you go. You can game this perk a lot. What I mean by gaming the perk is that you allow your health to drop extremely low, and then you make use of the reload bonus, and then when it looks like you actually might take some incoming fire, that's when you pop your heal and you lose your temporary buff. So Adrenaline Rush is already incredibly strong on all battleships, but on Conqueror it's especially strong simply because you can game this perk so much. You can intentionally take damage to go low and make use of it, which gives you a nice about 10 to 15% reload buff whenever you use it, depending on how low you go. A maximum of like 19.9%. And Superintendent, additional heal. Your heal is amazing, you should be using it. Concealment build, because your concealment is absolutely stupid. Your concealment is 11.8 when you run the full stealth build, which is stupid, because considering if we look at ships like Henry, we got 12.7 Moskva, we got 13.8, so the Conqueror is easily outspotting this, something that I heavily dislike. And fire prevention, because as we mentioned, HE spam is quite strong against you, so we want to be countering it. Follow it up with Expert Marksman, because when we run the mod that gives us faster reload, we lose turret traverse, so we really want to be using it, so we got a 40-second turret traverse, which is pretty good for a battleship. And Jack of all trades, which is of course normally 5%, but because we are running the special captain, denoted by this little yellow thing in the top right corner, which says unique commander, he has a 10% faster reload time on all these consumables. And finally, Expert Loader. You saw the value it has when the Yamato tried to make his turn in front of me. I could switch ammo type in 11 seconds and I could blap him full of citadels. Whenever you need to switch to ammo, switch to AP, having Expert Loader as a final pointer is extremely valuable. Preventive maintenance is also an option, but I prefer Expert Loader because it's simply given me more damage and it seems to have more utility when it calls for it. Flag-wise, well, I mentioned November Foxtrot. Considering how strong your heal is, you absolutely want to cut down the time. Once again, how strong your heal is, you want to boost it even further, and fires are your enemy, so you want to reduce the time of fire burns. Those are the three basics. Then you can add in stuff like AA or speed or whatever, but honestly these three, India Yankee, India Delta and November Foxtrot, those are the bread and butter of the Conqueror build. Right, that was my Conqueror commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even though I don't enjoy the ship. I hope you guys at least enjoyed the commentary. I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys have a good one.